move to the next part of the session. And as a part of our title, we are also going to delve into artificial intelligence in marketing. So, artificial intelligence in marketing revolutionize customer insights and engagement, driving personalized experiences and maximizing return on investment for businesses. So, with further ado, may I now welcome ma'am to address the audience on the same topic, AI in marketing.
What is artificial intelligence all about? And why do we call it artificial? It is very real. It's not man-made. It's not naturally generated. It is man-made. Why do we call a certain type of intelligence artificial intelligence? And what is the role? How is it? All of you must have used Chat GPT one way or the other. All of you may have been. Have you? How many of you have used Chat GPT? OpenAI? No, I'm not saying what it does. I'm just asking you what is AI? What it does is not a question. The question is what is AI? Anybody? AI क्या है? ये किस चिड़िया का नाम है? हम इसके बारे में इतनी बातें करते हैं, but what is it all about? What is AI? Okay, the objective of all kind of machine learning and artificial intelligence exercise is to enable computers to think like humans, right? Computers to be able to process information and come out with outcomes that humans could have done, right? Today, it has been possible for somebody to create a music symphony which became a chart buster. The lyrics were developed through machine learning, the music was developed, and it just gathered things together and created a sort of a music item. It was a music number that actually topped the charts in some of the music listings. Therefore, the objective is not to create an alternative to human intelligence. The objective is to help human beings move away from mundane kind of intellectual activity and support their thinking through creating information which could be. Therefore, because it is generated out of analytics and machine learning, is called artificial intelligence. Okay. Before we go into artificial intelligence, let us clear some cobwebs about marketing and AI. हमारे दिमाग में, I mean, we have these confusions in our mind, and especially people who are not from the marketing discipline have these cobwebs. Marketing and selling are similar activities. They're not. Selling is the most important component of marketing. No, it's a post-marketing initiation kind of an activity. Advertising makes us want things we do not need. A lot of people believe that because of advertisement, I bought that, but no amount of advertising can make you buy things that you do not really need, right? Marketers can create new needs. I have asked this question of MBA students, research students, people who are coming in for being employed as marketing teachers. Every time I get a wrong answer. Can a marketer create a new need? ये non-marketing students से बता सकते हैं. Can a marketer create a new need? Anybody? Quickly. Give me an example of when a marketer has created a new need. Give me one example of where a marketer actually created a new need. Sting. Okay. What is Sting? Sting is a quencher, thirst quencher, cold drink, also capable of giving. Is thirst as a need created by the market? See, marketers are in the business of creating solutions for needs. Needs have pre-existed marketers. Needs were there because we are human beings. Some of these are inherent needs like food, hunger, shelter, sleep, sex are all inherent needs because we are physiological beings. Others are learned needs, social needs like esteem needs, ego needs, and so on. These are all needs that we learn. Need for importance, need for self-esteem are all social needs. Marketers create solutions for the need. Products are actually solutions for the needs consumers have. No marketer can ever, somebody in a class said, Marketers created Xerox machines. Before that, we did not know so they created a new need. When mobile phones came, there was a new need was created. Please answer. What is the need? The need for communication, which was there when we lived in. हम गुफा में रहते थे और स्मोक सिग्नल बैठते बेचते थे तभी हम कम्युनिकेट करते थे. So what has happened is marketers have created newer, better, more apt solutions for a need that existed. So no marketer ever can create. Humans have needs. Marketers create solutions. Okay. So that is a cobweb that, I mean, if we know this, then we can understand the role of things like artificial intelligence. Can they therefore create progressively newer and more improved products? Because they've understood needs very well, what could be possible satisfiers. Please remember, the products that can actually handle many needs at a point in time can actually be better satisfiers. Raymond suities that we talk about, they cover you, but they also, do they make you a complete man? I'm not very sure. But the thing is, your need for dressing well, getting the approval of others, wearing a well-known brand, and therefore getting a certain esteem are all completed by one product. Therefore, this has become a bundle. A mobile phone, for example, has possibilities of addressing several needs. Your need for communication, your need for information, your need for staying connected, and so on and so forth. Right? So it's become a more complete solution for a large number of your needs. Therefore, the product has become a more desirable product. This is a question. Consumers are the intended recipients of marketing activities. Whatever marketing activity we do, consumers are the end product. They're the recipient. Is that correct? Or is that an impression that we hold? The answer is no. Marketers are the reasons for marketing activities. I mean, consumers are the reasons for marketing activities. Because consumers have a need, marketers get activated to create a solution, promote that solution, and so on. And the last one, technology applications will mostly impact digital marketing and not other aspects of marketing. This is also wrong because what technology and AI will do is to help us unlock the consumer mysteries. What does the consumer buy? Where is he headed? Where are his need satisfactions taking place? Therefore, ideas for new products, new innovation always come from. Okay. So the idea of marketing that we are intending to work with, because I'm talking about AI in marketing, let's look at what marketing is all about. Go ahead. Okay. Marketing is the organizational function for creating. Now each of them will have AI application. Creating, communicating, and delivering value to the customer. Right? In order to do that, we should know what is the value that is being sought. Who are my consumers and so on. Therefore, the key to marketing survival is understanding and satisfying your consumers well, doing it better than your competitors. Therefore, any organization which has got a competence in creating, communicating, and delivering value that is superior to that of its competitors will have long-term value. So only those people will survive who create better value, communicate better value, deliver better value faster and more efficiently than their own competitors, right? So this is what will determine now. How do we do that? Firstly, we should know what is value, for whom is this value being created, and how do I deliver that. Therefore, successful marketing would be identifying relevant customers. Therefore, effective targeting, segmenting, positioning, and reaching those efficiently. I'm saying this because we will now see how AI helps you do that. Offering them value that satisfies and delights them. Consumer satisfaction is a fulfillment response. Consumer delight is where my expectations have been exceeded. You've actually been given more value than what you expected. You are delighted. Now, this consumer delight results into long-term customer loyalty. Successful marketing is also communicating efficiently with your consumers. This is important, and this is where the role of AI comes in. Tracking their changing needs and wants in real time. I don't do it 5 years later, I don't do it 3 months later. I have a finger on the pulse of their changing needs, finger on their changing requirements and how these requirements are changing. Therefore, while we've all heard of the tiffin walas and the food needs of working people. What happened? There are more efficient ways like Zomato, Swiggy, and so on, and subscription services and food, tiffin, that can now replace. So it will disrupt one particular kind of business, but also create value for the customer and so on, because the times have changed and people require variety. Again, growing your customers. I have a certain set of customers. How do I find out? How do I know that the same needs is apparent or is becoming apparent in another part of the country, another group of people, and so on? Only AI applications will let me have that track. How do I retain my customers? I have a certain group of customers. How do I make sure that my competitors' goal will be taking away my customer? My goal will be not only retaining my own customers but growing them. Now, how do I do that? Let's use intelligence and customer centricity. Okay. How do I, as a provider of value, maximize that value? How do I constantly improve on that value so that my customer remain satisfied? How do I, therefore, the basic question that every marketer has to answer is, who is my customer? It's not Mr. X or Mr. Y. What is the profile? Who are the type of people who have this need? So anybody who has the need for which I am creating a solution is my customer. Therefore, who is my customer and what benefits does he seek? The understanding of those benefits and the special way in which he wants, this is an information that I need constantly, which is why enter AI. Getting to understand, getting to define my customer, getting to understand the nuances of the change will enable me to get to my customer, retain him, create value for him. Okay, this is the sort of a cycle of marketing activity. We have to reach out to the customer. We have to therefore act by creating appropriate products. We need to convert the prospects into actual customers, suspects into prospects, and then we have to engage with them by keeping them satisfied all the time. As the cycle grows down, I constantly have to begin this from a first purchase to an inclusive customer and so on. Now, at each stage, therefore, I would need massive information, which is why AI helps. What does AI do for a marketer? How does AI help marketers? Number one, it helps me have a real-time information on consumer preferences and their shifts. Post-COVID, there was this change in more health-oriented lifestyles. Now, how do you get to know about it? You get to know about it because people are buying different products. They are buying more sustainable products. They're buying more organic products. They are buying more health-oriented products. So lifestyles are changing because you realize when COVID happened, we suddenly realized life is ephemeral. Anything could happen anywhere. Therefore, if we have some inbuilt immunity, it will help us. So you all became more health conscious and so on. So consumer preferences and shifts into that is one power. Next, we just saw how technology enables changing perceptions, learning, attitudes, reference group, cultures, and subcultures. So, how will you get this information not only about your own consumer, but the Indian diaspora at the best? I mean, how are Indian people changing? How are Indian consumption values changing? I will give you one exercise. Even though it's a food related exercise, think of your own breakfast table or your own lunch table, right? Your own family lunch table. Think of the items which used to never be there 5 years ago. What has happened? How have our preferences changed? Why have they changed? Now, if you think of this for the billions of people in India, think of the insights that the marketer will be getting, right? So, these changing things, you can do it on a marketing research study also, but we'll be doing a limited study. AI, because of the deep data analytics that it does, provides you these insights on how our overall, by the way, I will give you, all of you, a wonderful resource. This is called BCG India. This is a company, the Boston Consulting Group. They come out with consumer insights in the Indian consumer, and they have a standing series, the emerging consumer or the new Indian. and they tell us about how behavior in metropolises and mini metros is changing, how is the work and purchase preference of a housewife changing, how is the role of woman in Indian purchasing changing, how are gender roles changing and all of that. And they do it with great data. It's huge data which tells you what is the direction and velocity of change. Are there changes which will take place in the next 3 months or will take a whole year to take place? So that's a wonderful resource as general reading. Just read it from time to time. It's beautiful. Yeah. So they do what is called the Emerging Indian, and every 3 to 4 months that chapter comes out. They did a wonderful this thing on the emerging rural customer, which shows for the first time in India, the internet usage in the rural community actually exceeded urban communities. Something of an eye opener for me. I always thought of internet as a primarily urban phenomena, but think of the kind of reach and media inputs that marketers can now send in local languages to rural customers, right? Again, technology. How are information search patterns changing? We've talked about that, but how is it changing? So most people, if they are just switching on to the Google for the information search, is it valid for me to keep on spending money in my media buying of newspapers? If 90% of my consumers are actually relying on Google search, should I have better SEO and then do my search? Then, okay, brand adoption, loyalty, and switching patterns, how are they changing? Therefore, how should I do my marketing strategy? Again, is a distribution. I mean, today everyone uses multi-channel marketing. You have stores and you have online buying. If you have been seeing Shark Tank, some of the new innovations, people say 80% of my selling is through online, remaining is through, we've identified outlets and so on. But there are a lot of people who still would like to inspect the product, especially in clothing and shoes and fashion apparel, high-end jewelry. You don't buy these things off the shelf because you want to check out. Therefore, how do I look at this? Is my online system more efficient? Is my wholesaler and retailer more efficient? How do I make them more enabled? Because I can give them real-time information about the emerging consumers in their own group, so they can do a better targeting and better position. How has AI been adopted in India and overall? This is a worldwide data. 2017, over 2,000 leading marketers of the world had started adopting AI. 61% said that artificial intelligence is the most important, potent development for marketers than anything else. So you believe that if you have a telescope into the mind of the consumer, if you can get to know what the consumer is thinking, where is he going to make it, I can take what is called intuitive marketing action in an informed fashion, right? This is a recent study that has been done by MESQL. They say 40% of adopters of AI in India are in an experimental phase. So they are experimenting with components of AI in their segmenting and targeting. They may not have translated into their marketing strategy. So right now we are in an adoption phase. This company, Salesforce, where it says 51% are actually already use AI and 27% intend to apply. Adoption trends are actually, because we are saying they are the most important development, adoption trends are likely to surpass Internet of Things, marketing automation, and so on. You can read more. If you want more recent, I always go to this site to get the most recent statistics on adoption of AI. So look at this, and it's a good exercise actually to look at it every 3 months so that you get new statistics, new data. And when you compare data from your earlier search now, you can see the pace of development in AI. What is the India story? I was talking about the world in general. In India, what's really happened? This is an MMA's report which came out in 2023, November, fairly recent. Okay, 70% of the respondents, they were talking to marketers, 70% of the respondents are aware of the ethical dimension of AI. What is the most troubling ethical dimension and use of artificial intelligence? data privacy. Your consumer data that you are gathering, as that you're normally collecting as a marketer on your sales register and so on, if you make them public. It has happened in India where bank data, savings information of millions of consumers became public because it was shared to a data analytics company, and it became, so they used it to create more customers. But the fact is, this is the ethical dimension. Okay, 65% people felt this is mere data, but try to take a look. Respondents are in experimental phase. Uh, Most people believe that it's a high importance, while some people say it's okay. Uh, Most of them want to explore AI implications in marketing, and this is the most major risk that marketers perform, because this is something that is actually punishable. If you played with consumer data and made it public because you signed a privacy agreement, this is where uh, top AI usage. What is the highest use in the world? Uh, Highest uses in collection and analysis of data, and this is mere statistics, but this is useful. We need to see what are the applications to which people are meeting, because even if it's just data analysis, marketers, to make their decision about products to be offered, advertising appeals to be offered, and so on, use data. Therefore, it is one of the topmost uses. Content creation, how, what to write in your advertisement on your website and so on, uh, how to create good customer support. So these are the extent of usage of AI in marketing. Okay, what is already happening in India itself and surrounding countries? These are things that are already happening. Creating and generating content. We all know how they use AI, open AI to create content. So these are the applications that are there. BBC has started using for its news service, CBS, New York Times, Wordsmith, Articolo, all of these are web content creators use artificial intelligence. Please remember, the content creation is used for marketing and non-marketing, both. But the fact is, it is being used. Content curation, out of so much content that is there, how do you curate the content which will become more focused onto certain consumer groups? Examples are great things. That means personalized recommendation can be given. When you open your Netflix, you say people who watch this also watch these things, so they're suggesting what is it that you should be. If you've been seeing crime serials for the last few occasions, uh, you're seeing some web series of the family kind, they will give you recommendations. So that's all an example. That means they must have analyzed the viewing history of each individual, therefore to be able to give personalized recommendations. So Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, and there's a consumer churn. One of my PhD students actually is doing a study on consumer churn and what are the factors that affect it. How many people leave and then people join. So at the end of the period, what is the total number of consumers still with you? Netflix has only 2% churn as compared to YouTube, which has got 21%. Therefore, what is the implication? For marketers, that means in terms of variety of their content, Netflix is giving a far greater value to the consumer, therefore, an input marketing strategy. Therefore, these people may learn how do they improve their consumer satisfaction.
Also where to place their effort.
Yes. Again, email marketing campaigns. Again, YouTube. I mean, it's possible to buy. Netflix is a not ad revenue company; it's a subscription company. YouTube is an open thing where you have to contend with ads, and people don't like it. Therefore, churn is higher. Okay. Email marketing campaigns are again greatly used, are supported by AI inputs. I would similarly with digital advertising. Again, information search support for consumers. Therefore, you can create, artificial intelligence has helped marketers create voice search, RankBrain, Amazon Echo, Google Home, Siri. They are all examples of how AI has enabled people to help their own consumers do their information search better. Therefore, marketers can then, by directing them in a certain direction, can determine what is the kind of information they will be exposed to, and therefore decisions in their own favor. Okay, the current application that is there already very open is user content, user generated content. You all do on your social media a lot of content generation. Website design, B2B are all using great AI applications. User interface interaction, chatbots, when they are using natural language processing, all the questions that are raised are actually processed. So what do you get? How do marketers use that artificial intelligence? They get to know what are the complaints of people, what are the issues they have with the product, therefore how do they improve their own products and so on. uh, I already gave you examples of Sephora and H&M. H&M allows you, if you are choosing between a straight pant style versus a tapering pant style, they ask you to give your full length picture, then let you see how a particular style will look for you, and you can do an experimentation of up to 10 designs, which means you can decide, and this is all AI technology generated and so on. This is very important. Programmatic media buying. How do I buy media slots? Newspaper, television spots, and so on. Viewership and people doing what is called channel shifting and analysis of all of that allows me to understand that every time during a cricket match the ad comes in, you switch to another channel. So do you think prime viewer time is a good, it's a very expensive media buying spot, is it worth it? So if there are only effective buyers are smaller, I would have spent crores of rupees to get those media incidences. Artificial intelligence can help me get the statistics and therefore help me. How this is something that Gurmeet was asking about, propensity modeling. If I analyze behavior of buyers, if they have been buying only organic food in different kinds of categories for the last 5 instances, the propensity of their going in for, let's say, chemical oriented food is much lower. Therefore, my putting that food on the shelf may not help me. So, this predictive buyer behavior, propensity modeling, and what is the propensity of people to go in for that kind of purchase next time is very easily predicted. So, I've already explained predictive analysis. This predictive analysis can be done on service buying, product buying, variant choosing. When people buy perfumes, there are some who like floral tones, others who like warm tones and so on. But if they experiment and the experimentation has followed a certain kind of media input, then I can add two and two together and predict people's behavior. AI is also being used to give that information to your sales teams, especially when they are going for missionary selling and so on. This is the profile of the customers in your area. These are higher prospects, while the others may have some objections because they are the competitors' customers and so on. So, all this kind of lead scoring and automation support that you can give to your sales team is okay. What are the emerging trends? What can we look forward to? There is greater accuracy, and our capacity to predict massive amount of data is becoming better and better. Therefore, the conversion and predictive analysis is going to get much better. Where you have people who are fence sitters, who are not able to decide whether I should go in for condo living, buy this kind of house. So there are prospects or aspirants to convert. How do you get people to convert to be buyers? Dynamic pricing. Earlier, we used to have a certain price level and there would be discount from time to time. Today, people are able to see that there is surge pricing in certain cases at certain time and the buying goes down. So can we throughout the day have more dynamic pricing? So you will see all these Ubers and Olas at around between 9:30 to 10:30, there is a surge because the usage is much higher. During weekends and so on, there is slow. Even the metro goes in for. How did that information come by? You must have analyzed the buying behavior of millions of people to be able to. Now, that is also done for apparel, clothes, things like festival related buying, the puja things and all and so on. How do you think venues during November to February in Delhi become extremely expensive because that's the wedding season, right? So you can have now that pattern of buying, and therefore if you go into what is called subscription buying, if you are a frequent flyer or whatever, you get all airlines get into this kind of escalation of buying. Election time, the prices go up because people need to travel more and so on. Therefore, they'll be making more money. However, there is something called a deadline shift or nighttime shift where the prices are very, very low. Now, in India, we don't have it so much, but there is it's called the red eye flight. Flights that originate at 2 p.m., 2 a.m. in the night, reach you there at 3 a.m. Most people don't, but the prices become very, very low so that you're increasing traffic and utilizing your sales force. Now, all of that is AI related uh, predictive analysis. How do you create predictive consumer services? Because the timing, the type of service people want, kind of information people want, kind of support that this has been extremely well utilized in financial services like banking, investments, advisory, right? Extremely well utilized. This is a person that some of the marketing teachers should read. He's Simon Sinek, who's created a very good uh, how to retain your consumers using simple inputs from AI. How do you grow your customers? If you look at unsatisfied consumer needs, for all our great research in medical science, we still have not been able to develop a cure for common cold. जुकाम आता है 3 दिन रहता है चला जाता है, but we don't have a surefire cure for it, which does not make us sleepy. Therefore, in terms of growing your customers, ideas for unsatisfied, partially satisfied, less efficiently satisfied needs would give you ideas for new product development. We've already talked about diffusion of innovation. How does AI enable a faster diffusion? And also, what are the barriers to purchase? When people are looking in their consumer inquiries, they make a few inquiries to your chatbot, but ultimately decide not to buy. So you need to precisely say what was the information at which point his inflection turned. And that is where AI enables you the communication history, the chatbot response, and where did the consumer change channels. Therefore, we realize these are the possible inflection points for barriers to purchase. Search and consumption, we've already talked about how AI enables you search. Okay. Integration of integrative marketing and chatbot is what is giving you brands and personalized marketing services. And the last one, in terms of your inventory, in terms of your search patterns, in terms of your storing patterns, warehousing patterns, AI enables a great degree of marketing automation to the extent of bin completion, bin getting filled up, inventory models, logistics services, automatic order generation from large dealers is all AI supported now. So these are the directions we're looking for in future. Okay. According to Forrester, who says this is the true age of consumer, because what you're capturing in marketing is the era of informed decision making. And this information is being made possible through AI application. Therefore, we can do what is Peter Farder is a very eminent marketing professor who talks about consumer centricity in services particularly, where he says, while we say each consumer who walks into our portal is important, not all consumers were created equal. There are people, we don't talk about the 20-80 rule anymore, 20% people giving you 80% business. But in terms of marketing strategy, in terms of marketing resources, you need to follow what is called customer centricity. What is the lifetime worth of each consumer to you? Therefore, do we find that some people are more equal than others? Therefore, do you concentrate on certain? And there are banks who have actually focused on the senior citizen as customers because they're not as demanding on everyday kind of transaction, have different needs, may have more support needs, but they're very valuable customers because they're not drawers of money very highly and they enable the bank to utilize. Now, this kind of customer centricity enables financial service organization and all that information is something that AI generates for them by giving them real-time information on consumer churn, consumer movements, and so on. Okay. Again, Forrester says, we talk about services where we say every time a consumer comes to a service organization is a moment of truth. Whatever you have planned, whether that will be converted into a satisfying transaction or not, is something that will lead to the cycle of success for the company. AI, because it enables you to find barriers to purchase, points of deflection, points of dissatisfaction, enables a greater conversion of every customer contact point into a moment of truth that comes in your favor. Therefore, again, because of that, because you know more about the customer, because you have real-time information on his changing preferences, the possibility of creating consumer delight is much higher. And that's about all that I wanted to say. This is just to whet your reading appetite. I have given you the tools that are being used in AI for different kind of things. So this is just a listing. This is just information sharing. I don't really need to spend time on this. This is just for leaving with you. These are interesting tools that you can utilize. That's all.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a wonderful and insightful session. We enjoyed thoroughly. Moving on, it is our privilege and honor to extend a heartfelt gratitude to all our distinguished guests. As a part of our tradition, we felicitate our guests with a token of respect and reverence. May I now request Honorable Dr. Rakesh Khurana, Sir, Advisor MERI, to present a token of appreciation to Honorable Dr. Professor Madhulika Kaushik, Ma'am, Vice Chancellor, Usha Martin University. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for accepting our invitation and enlightening our students. Thank you, Rakesh, sir, for always guiding us. Now, may I now request Honorable Dr. Ritu Agarwal, ma'am, HOD IT Department, to present a token of appreciation to Honorable Dr. Rakesh Khurana, sir, Advisor MERI. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. With this, we come to an end of this session. Thank you, everyone. We break here for the lunch.